facing page, ascent procedures, for the throttle bucket, your check PC to 72 is decimal 81 Mach, and check PC back to 104 will be 1.27. How copy?
Check PC at 72 will be decimal 81 Mach, and back to 104 at 1.27 Mach.
That's a good copy, and you can flip the page over to 2-6. Down on the bottom, under planar window, you can NA the second column. We'll just be using the first column today for planar window number 1. And your nominal ohms to HT is 91.2, and your no-com ohms to HP is 85. How copy?
Houston, we've NA'd the second planar window for the first planar window, nominal ohms HT, 91.2, and no-com ohms to HP, 8585.
That's a good copy as well. On the facing page, all the way at the bottom, under post-nominal ohms assist, there's no change to your percent ohms per side. That remains 7.4. However, small change to dump time. It is now 2:17. How copy?
No change to ohms per side. It's still 74. The dump time is 2:17.
And that's a good copy. Your next update is back in the ascent checklist, page 8-6. Let me know when you're there.
OTC DPS. Yes, go. Can verify step 862. Copy.
And OTC CGLS.
So let's go.
Give you step 854.
Copy. And EPD OTC. OTC, you complete?
Yes, sir. I'm just getting ready to give you steps 848 through 852, NOMAC code.
Copy.
Houston, Discovery on page 8-6.
Okay, Eileen, and yeah, you probably realize that's actually page 8-7. Bottom left-hand corner, your max rates in first stage. Roll 2 degrees per second at 70 seconds. Pitch 1 degree per second at 70 seconds. Yaw less than 1 degree per second. And trajectory lofting in second stage is none. How copy?
Page 8-7. Roll 2 degrees
This is shuttle launch control at T-minus 20 minutes and counting. Go into the 20-minute built-in hold in 2, 1. T-minus 20 minutes and holding for 10 minutes.
Good copy on all. A couple of additional notes for you.
The countdown will resume once again at 9:34 a.m. During this period, the NASA test director will ask members of the launch team to verify that the proper software has been loaded aboard for the remainder of the countdown. Also during this hold, we'll get a verification that the pre-flight inertial measurement unit alignment has been completed. At T-minus 20 minutes and holding, this is shuttle launch control.
Right now, and we anticipate being able to give you Zaragoza here, but we can't make that call just yet. You can expect us to call you back in a little bit and make that official.
Okay, we'll stand by on the tower.
And that completes your ascent checklist updates. Thanks.
And Houston, Discovery copies, break, OTC, CDR.
CDR OTC.
So we did reset the master alarm during the call-up from Houston for the cabin crash.
See that. And ECL, you copy?
Kennedy.
Sorry, copy.
CDR reset a master alarm during
Oh, yeah,
status,
yes, I did.
Okay. All personnel air to ground 1, verify your software, step 890. RPS OTC on 212.
Just your RPS.
888.
888 is complete.
CCSE OTC, air to ground 1.
CCSE.
Yeah, look at 933. Is that not performed?
PSP power down will be not performed.
Copy. DVD OTC.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to hold off a little bit on 877 until we back away from the side end.
Copy that.
All right. OTC DPS. Yes, go. Set 924 verified.
FCO, NTD on 212 for ComCheck.
Oh, I'm clear, Army.
Have you the same, thank you.
Roger.
CHGD, CGSS, and JBFX, verify active on channel 212 and monitor only on 232 for remainder of count. CHGD,
HDD verified.
CGSS,
GSS verified.
and JBFX.
JBFX verified.
Thank you.
Launch team members moving over to the flight channel now along with the astronauts so that everyone is on the same page, so to speak. Everybody will be monitoring and talking on the same channel from now to launch. We have about 5 minutes remaining in this plane, 10-minute built-in hold.
16-946, 947, 948, and 949 complete.
Copy.
OTC, CGNC.
CNC, go.
Steps 944 and 945. IDP2 is back at C12.
Copy. DPS, you copy?
DPS copies.
All right.
Attention all personnel, this is the NTD conducting the T-minus 20-minute briefing.
And attention all personnel, this is the NTD conducting the T-minus 20-minute briefing. Launch window open time today is 14:34:33 GMT, and will close at 14:43:52 GMT. Our lock stream back hold time will be 3 minutes, 25 seconds based on preferred, and that is on engine performance as well. Our launch window and lock stream back hold times will be updated and provided to the team during the T-minus 9-minute hold. There are no launch window cutouts and no COLAs today. PLT at T-minus 5 minutes. Perform APU start upon command of OTC only.
PLT copies.
CDR, our pad egress system is nominal, and our evac helipad is 9.
CDR copies, pad 9.
Firing room launch team, after T-minus 20 minutes, all problems or trends requiring a countdown clock hold will be reported to the NTD on 212 together with a recommendation. For all manual holds, after T-minus 5 minutes, the countdown clock will continue until T-minus 31 seconds, unless the recommendation to hold at the next milestone is necessary. After T-minus 31 seconds, only cutoff is available and will result in a recycle to T-minus 20 minutes. For a cutoff, the per words CGLS give cutoff will be used. Our GLS milestones are as listed, and that concludes the T-minus 20-minute briefing. And attention all personnel, our countdown clock will resume in 3 minutes.
OTC, CNTC, we only have one constraint left, line item 59.
Copy. Copy. SPE NTD N212.
Go ahead.
Okay, we got a Dave in here, for our 15-minute snapshot for data. Can we do that now before we start counting, or do we need to do it after we go through, start going through transition?
It's after ops transition's complete.
Okay. Stuck kind of right in the middle there of a few call-outs, and just we'll manage it up here.
TGSS OTC. TGSS. Okay, start your second pump, 954. Copy.
And attention console operators, discontinue all LDB commands and reads during pass ops transition.
This is shuttle launch control, T-minus 20 minutes and holding. We have about 45 seconds remaining in this planned built-in hold. When we come out of the hold, we'll be transitioning to Ops 101, which means the primary ascent software will be loaded aboard and the computer is on Discovery configured for launch for the Ops 101 program. Coming out of hold now in 10 seconds. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. T-minus 20 minutes and counting.
2, 1, mark. T-minus 20 minutes and counting.
OTC, CL212.
CL go.
Okay, we just want to let the crew know we're getting ready to remove the probe, and they'll probably get a master alarm.
CDR OTC, copy.
CDR copies.
Okay.
The solid rocket booster retrieval ships, Liberty and Freedom, are standing by now in the Atlantic Ocean. The ships departed from Hangar F at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station on Monday at 10 a.m. Their location is now 140 nautical miles northeast of the Cape Canaveral Lighthouse off the coast of Jacksonville. The ships are expected to return to Port Canaveral at approximately 7 p.m. on Wednesday, at which time the boosters will be removed from the water and washed down, and then on Thursday morning the booster inspections will begin. Right now the SRB retrieval ships are performing a radar and visual search of the impact area to ensure that it is clear of ships, and are relaying the sea conditions and weather reports back to the shuttle weather officer. The ships can cruise at a speed of up to 27 knots depending on the weather, and can carry enough fuel for a range of 7,000 miles and enough food and water for up to 30 days. The ships have berth for up to 24 crew. At about an hour before launch, very shortly, the ships will be moving to their terminal support point, a position which is 8 to 10 nautical miles from the predicted point of impact. After the boosters are jettisoned 2 minutes into flight at an altitude of 30 miles, they will continue upward for about another 70 seconds to about 42 miles before they begin free fall toward the Atlantic Ocean at a speed of 230 miles per hour. At about 3 miles in altitude, a drogue chute will deploy to begin slowing the fall to the water, and at about 1 mile above the water, the main chutes deploy, creating a more gradual fall. The total descent to the water takes about 7 minutes, and the boosters will impact the ocean at a speed of about 51 miles per hour, usually about 7 miles apart. The booster recovery operation then begins. It takes about 6 hours. The boosters will be plugged and compressed air will be pumped into the interior, which is a procedure known as dewatering. This will change their configuration in the ocean from vertical and bobbing up and down like buoys to horizontal, resembling logs in the water. This is called the log mode. This way they can be towed back easily by the booster retrieval ships to Port Canaveral. After the ships arrive back at port on early Wednesday evening, they will tow the boosters through the locks to the Banana River, and then turn north for about 4 miles back to the Hangar AF booster disassembly facility where the boats are stationed. At that time, then, they will be removed from the water, washed down, and the inspections will begin. At T-minus 16 minutes, 10 seconds and counting, this is shuttle launch control.
OTC. Go ahead. Configure your horizontal situation displays per your checklist. We'll go and I'll do that following the BFS stops one. Copy.
OTC CDR, DSS-2 Ops 1 is complete per the checklist.
Copy that, and you have a go for your contingency abort yaw steer per your...
ATC CDR, the abort yaw steering is complete.
Copy CDR, thank you. CMQC 971973 complete. What do you see?
DBD. Okay.
Okay, 996, adjust your fuel cell loads between 250 and 290, please.
DBD copy.
Personnel air to ground 1, discontinue all non-mandatory LDB traffic for the remainder of the count.
This is shuttle launch control, T-minus 11 minutes, 40 seconds and counting. Weather at Zaragoza is acceptable for a landing overseas should that be necessary, and the crew has selected Zaragoza as the primary TAL landing site.
OTC, PLT, MPS, helium reconfig complete. Happy PLT.
We're about 2 minutes away from going into the hold at T-minus 9.
Attention all personnel, countdown clock will hold at 9 minutes in 1 minute.
Standing by to go into the hold in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. T-minus 9 minutes and holding for 45 minutes. We will now go to the Johnson Space Center in Houston to Mission Control, where we will check on the readiness of Houston flight to support today's launch. Going now to Mission Control in Houston.
This is Mission Control Houston here in the shuttle flight control room. The ascent entry team of flight controllers has been on duty since the early hours this morning, assisting with the final hours of the countdown as needed. Overseeing activities here in Mission Control for Discovery's climb to orbit will be ascent entry flight director Leroy Kane. Providing communications with Discovery will be spacecraft communicator Capcom Ken Ham. The team here has been working no concerns with any systems on the spacecraft as the countdown has progressed, all in good shape and ready for launch at this point.
10-11.
Currently, focus is monitoring the weather both at the Kennedy Space Center's shuttle runway and also at transatlantic landing sites abroad, 2 sites in Spain at Zaragoza and Morone, and 1 site in France at Istres-les-Tubes, a commercial airfield. The weather forecast at those sites is of interest in the event that they are required for a landing by Discovery during a engine problem or other problem that would necessitate an abort of its climb to orbit during the latter stages of its ascent. During the early stages of its ascent, it would perform a landing back at the shuttle runway at the Kennedy Space Center in an abort called a return to launch site abort. The weather forecast at Kennedy poses no concerns for that possible abort.
Copy. STM NTD 784, please.
Weather must be acceptable for that for a launch. Overseas, weather at all 3 TAL sites has been go at times during the morning. The preferred TAL site is Zaragoza, a Spanish Air Force base at Zaragoza in Spain. The weather there has been forecast no-go some of the time due to a chance of showers in the vicinity. However, currently it appears that those showers are diminishing and may be removed from the forecast. If so, it will become the primary transatlantic landing site for Discovery's ascent to orbit. Only one of the TAL sites must be forecast go for launch to proceed. At Morone, Spain, weather is forecast go as well, and at Istres-les-Tubes, the forecast has been go also. One maneuver that Discovery will perform after its main engines have cut off at 8.5 minutes after launch, shortly afterward as it jettisons the external fuel tank, will be an external tank photo maneuver to allow the crew to take digital still photos and video of the external tank at a much closer distance than previously done on past shuttle flights, cutting that distance in less than half. Actually, a distance of about 1,300 feet or so anticipated for those photos. That'll occur about 11.5 minutes after launch, about 3 minutes after cutoff of the main engines for Discovery.
Okay. Are you ready for the final window determination discussion?
Flight is ready.
Okay. Channel 231.
Going to 231.
As Discovery continues through the final minutes of the countdown aboard the International Space Station, that crew of NASA Science Officer John Phillips and Commander Sergei Krikalev has spent the day preparing the station, some final preparations for the arrival of Discovery in a couple of days. Phillips also taking advantage of time to conduct continuing experiments in physiology. The station crew will attempt to see the launch uplinked to them by Mission Control live as it happens this morning. At the time of launch, the station will be over the Indian Ocean to the south of Australia. Again, all activities are progressing well on Mission Control. At T-minus 9 minutes and counting, this is Mission Control, Houston.
This is GOIS. Go ahead. Okay. Are we ready to work the DEVE now for verification of all of our ground assets?
Yes, I'm ready to give you that.
Okay.
You ready for the fill-in?
Sure.
Okay, long range north, 7. Long range south, 8. Medium range north, 6. Medium range south, 5. Medium range west, 6. Short range, 3. All assets are up in green.
Okay. All others on the deviation, I think we just mark as supporting for all the other locations, correct?
That is correct, and I've got that filled in my copy of the book.
Very good.
This is Shuttle Launch Control, T-minus 9 minutes and holding, 40 minutes remaining in this hold. Confirmation that weather is good for our TLS, or on return to launch site standpoint.
Conferred on C31, and we've selected launch time as the preferred time today. Please, if you'll set up for that. Copy, will do.
Mike Leinbach directing the NASA
and
test director
NTD?
to set up for the nominal launch time, 10:39, straight up.
From GOIS for ground camera status. All ground assets are up and supporting. And we did record all the number of views for each of the categories on the DEVE here. I can share those numbers with you all. And we have exceeded all of the minimum numbers for all of the views available for the long, medium, and short-range trackers. Okay, so no shortfalls reported? No shortfalls. And does that include the 2 airborne assets? Affirm. Very good, thank you.
Confirmation that all of our optic sites are go, including the WB-57 aircraft. We're going to look now at some videotape of those WB-57 aircraft being prepared for launch.
And NTD, that's a good copy on the preferred time, no updates.
The WB-57 is a high-altitude jet that will obtain experimental imagery of Discovery's launch as it flies at an altitude of 60,000 feet. This is the steerable optics platform in the nose of the WB-57. This experiment is called WAVE, which stands for WB-57 Ascent Video Experiment. It's a nested acronym. There are 2 high-definition color cameras and a near-infrared camera. The 2 aircraft took off from Patrick Air Force Base approximately 2.5 hours before launch and entered a holding pattern, one north of the shuttle's flight path and the other south. If the WAVE camera system's performance and the image quality is acceptable on this launch and STS-114, NASA will consider use of the system beyond these first 2 Space Shuttle return to flight missions. These are the crew members on the WB-57 suiting up for their flight.
When you were up, so I might have to get you though. Right here in front. Looking in. Wait. Ready for this? I wish I was long enough. Set.
We have approximately 35 minutes remaining in this planned built-in hold. No issues in work by the launch team. Weather at our shuttle landing facility site for return to launch site is go, and weather at Zaragoza for return to launch, or rather overseas emergency landing, is go.
Okay, this would be a constraint to scrub turnaround.
No launch weather concerns either.
Okay. That would be run 4 cabin closeout operations. Cabin press at that point, correct?
Copy.
Okay, and you'll provide an IPR card back to CMQC?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so at this point, no launch constraint. ECL, you concur? No launch constraint?
Yes, sir, no constraint.
Okay, and SPE entity, do you concur with that?
We have one question for, really it's probably not for ECL, but for the closeout crew. Did they have any problems getting the cap back installed?
No TCOVCC, no, the cap went on. Very, very good.
I copy. And with that NTD, we concur with no constraint to launch.
Okay, and do you have a suggestion where to put it? Is it all right if we put it against the run 4 of our sequence 16 cabin press operations?
We have no problem with that constraint.
Okay. Copy that. NTD, TBC. Go ahead, TBC. Step 1014 Alpha, can we get that from you?
We've seen some of the footage of the
Okay,
WB-57 aircraft. We've got some other video of the ground-based optical trackers located around the Cape and actually extending all the way up to Ponce de Leon Inlet near New Smyrna Beach and then down to Patrick Air Force Base. Medium-range trackers are located at 6 sites near Complex 39 north and south of the pad, plus the 11 sites with longer range trackers that also include the ones at Ponce Inlet and down at Patrick Air Force Base. These can take a combination of film and high-speed digital video up to and including 150-inch lenses.
Yeah, I got it right here. All right. About 80 degrees.
I don't know if that was the lead I got to always to the left.
In addition, we have 2 high-powered long-range optical sights. One is located on the Cape Canaveral National Seashore, which we see here, and the other one is in Cocoa Beach. They have 200-inch and 400-inch lenses for film and high-definition video.
These are both acid-drain scopes.
The operator's joystick is so sensitive it even responds to the heartbeat of the person operating it.
That's killing me.
This video will be second only to the optics of the WB-57 at altitude as Discovery climbs through the atmosphere.
There's also various selections along here for the video outputs. This particular beam adds element positional information onto the outgoing video.
And that is the operator's control panel where he controls the optical tracker. That, on the day this was taken, was a view of the moon. We're proceeding smoothly through this planned built-in hold. We have 29.5 minutes remaining. Countdown continues to go smoothly and routinely. No weather issues.
7873, white room secure per op 267. Can you verify that?
Didn't work at this time.
See that? OTC MTS.
Yes, go.
1022B is complete in the D's, and we're ready for GLS to work the next step for cleanup.
Okay, GLS, OTC. This is GLS 122.
It'll work the D's.
That's affirmed. We're ready. Okay, we'll go. Security console, entity 212. Security console, entity 212.
Security, sir.
Okay, step 855. You can put that in work if you have not already.
Copy that, sir. We'll put that in work.
Thank you, and we'll be looking for a call on 856.
Copy that, sir. We'll come back.
In addition to the WB-57 high-altitude aircraft, the high-powered optics on the ground, there is also radar. There is a new system, a new wideband and a Doppler radar tracking system that has been installed, which consists of C-band and X-band radars. We're looking now at the construction of the C-band radar site located on North Merritt Island. And together with an X-band, a set of X-band antennas, it will be detecting debris during launch and ascent, should there be any, along with the optics on the ground and the WB-57. This is a 10-meter C-band radar antenna that's being erected here. There will be a larger one erected later downstream in the shuttle program. It's currently undergoing build-up at this site, on the which is located on the Merritt Island Wildlife Refuge, north of Complex 39. This is the X-band radar that works together with the C-band radar. And here is the pedestal for the C-band dish, which will be installed atop this pedestal. This is the instrumentation van that is part of the C-band, X-band complex. And here's the completed C-band radar undergoing testing. Here is the associated X-band radar. And together, they work as a team. This is the X-band radar being put through its paces. And one of these X-band radars was also installed on the Liberty Star, one of the solid rocket booster retrieval ships, which will be able to look back at the shuttle at an angle. And a third one of these X-band radars was installed at an Air Force installation on Melbourne Beach. So for the launch today, we will have the C-band, X-band combination on Merritt Island, the X-band at Melbourne Beach, and the X-band on the solid rocket booster retrieval ship, all working together to look for ascent debris, along with the long-range optical trackers on the ground and the WB-57 aircraft at altitude. Shuttle Weather Officer Kathy Winters has just reported back to Mike Leinbach once again that as far as launch weather is concerned, we are still go for launch. So much of the STS-114 mission is intended to improve the safety of the space shuttle during launch as well as on orbit. And as far as the mission, the astronauts will be demonstrating thermal protection system repair materials and techniques, in addition to the objective of providing vital spare parts, water, and other supplies to the International Space Station. We'll look now at some video of the work that was done to prepare Space Shuttle Discovery for launch. It's the first power on of Discovery. This is the installation of the orbiter body flap. This was followed by installation of the 17-inch quick disconnect, which provides the propellants to the orbiter itself, the main engines. This is the first RCC panel to be installed on the leading edges of the wings, carrier panels. This is looking at some hand sewing of the thermal protection system blankets for the inside of Discovery's nose cap.
Have to do that, just do one and one. Okay. Drop down. Yeah, we'll see this.
This is the installation of the rudder speed brake actuator onto the orbiter. This is the external airlock being installed. Forward reaction control system is installed on the orbiter's nose. Next to come was the left orbital maneuvering system pod. This is the wing leading edge sensor installation. And now the installation of Space Shuttle main engine number 2. This is the orbiter boom sensor system in the Vehicle Assembly Building's RMS lab. This is the crew equipment interface test, the window inspection by Jim Kelly and Eileen Collins. Now installation of the remote manipulator system. The RMS is on the right in this photograph, and the orbiter boom sensor system was on the left. This is a payload bay door closure. And that brings us to the day of rollout from OPF Bay 3.
I think we're officially clear. And there's that That's what I need to find.
Discovery now arriving at the Vehicle Assembly Building transfer aisle. At this point, it was rotated in preparation for mating to the external tank solid rocket booster stack. This was the second stack of this processing flow. And the mating to the external tank. Gradual lowering down to the attach points. And this is rollout to pad 39B. About 4.2 miles from the Vehicle Assembly Building to Pad B. At a point where the road turns to the north. And arrival atop the pad surface.
And we're about to come out.
And this is a live shot once again at the launch pad where Discovery awaits its launch in only about 23 minutes or so. We have 14 minutes remaining in this planned built-in hold. At T-minus 9 minutes and holding, this is shuttle launch control.
Hey, George.
This is shuttle launch control, T-minus 9 minutes and holding, 12 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in this planned built-in hold. The final ecosystem check that was planned during this hold is complete, and the eco sensors are good. Astronaut Kent Rumminger continuing to fly the shuttle training aircraft out at the runway to fly approaches and evaluate the weather for return to launch site, which at this time is observed green.
Entity safety.
Go ahead, safety.
I verify 989.
Copy, thank you. And PAC console entity, step 989 is verified. Closeout cruise back at AB11.
PAC copies, thank you.
And safety, can you verify 990 then?
Still waiting on verification 856, sir.
PD security console.
Go ahead.
856.
Copy that. Safety, 856 to you.
With 856, sir, I can verify 990.
Copy, thank you. And STM entity, step 991, we can terminate video track.
Put it in work.
And MS1 026. MS1, go ahead. Okay, you've got to go to activate your V10 recorder. Copy, that's in work. Copy. CMQC 1046.
And SRO entity, our KSC area is clear for launch.
Yes, sir. Copy is clear for launch. Thank you.
This is shuttle launch control, T-minus 9 minutes and holding. We have 8 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in this hold. We should begin to hear some of the final polls going on and the launch director's instruction to the launch team. It continues to be